Present day. Present time.
So as we know, Firefox and their shitification in the past has really ruined the browser for us, and there's a lot of people that even dropped it. And so some of these controversies come from Firefox collecting data and telemetry from users and without consent. They fire a one of the co-founders that actually make this browser. And so the community forgot them because at the end of the day they ended up fixing some of these issues that we have with it. Um they pushed it even farther with Firefox. So last year they did something that was the final nail in the coffin for most people, I would say. They went onto a website and they changed their terms of service. And basically what they did is they removed the part where they say that they promised you not to sell user data. And so this really raised some eyebrows in the open source community. Not only that, some people even went as far as removing Firefox as the default internet browser in some of the Linux distributions. So there's even one of the big people Linux YouTubers that ended up interviewing one of the employees or CEO, I think, of the Firefox project, and they were asking about these questions. The answer we got was that because California is changing the definition of what collecting data actually means, they remove it from their website. And even after they defend themselves and they say that it wasn't a bad intent and stuff, they ended up making people entrust them that they weren't going to sell their data. And let's be honest, Firefox got pretty big. You could call it a corporation. And when a corporation gets that high, you can't really no longer really trust them when they get that big. And so that made a lot of people actually move away from Firefox. So this caused a huge controversy in the open source community. And yeah, a lot of Linux people that make distributions for Linux ended up removing it completely. So in this past few months, I have an internet browser crisis. I guess you could say I've been having a midlife crisis, and I ended up nailing it down to 3 internet browsers. So obviously, I only got left with one clear winner, but my options of the browsers I ended up trying, which is what we're discussing today, was LibreWolf, Brave, and Flirt. So here today, I'm going to discuss my experience with each three and which one I ended up making the alternative for Firefox. So before we get into all of these, let's talk about LibreWolf. So LibreWolf is an internet browser that focuses on security and privacy for its users. And even though it has like really good and it's really secure and it comes pre-configured out of the box, there's certain settings that you really can't change. And yes, I can go into the CSS file and just change the CSS as settings and just tweak around like that. But that's not what my intent. My goal is to have an alternative for you guys for Firefox to everyone, no matter how much experience you have in this, and something that just works right out of the box. Now let's move on to our second internet browser. So for the second internet browser that I ended up trying was called Brave. Brave is a fork of Chrome. Yes, it's Chrome. And it has a pretty good built-in app blocker out of the box that is actually their default, and they're actually one of the biggest internet browser. But I ran into a lot of bugs that ended up being really inconvenient and annoying in the past months, and like this shit has not been fixed. Like I've noticed it's only a problem on Linux. Like it doesn't do it on mobile. It doesn't do it on Windows computers when I used to be there. But these issues includes like the Windows resizing will get stuck and then it won't let you click anything. And then there's this other issue where it freaking keeps like, what was the issue? Wait. Oh yeah, the other issue is that if you have an extension that have authentication keys or any VPN or something, it'll forget your login completely. And as much as I don't want to blame Brave, I think this is actually a Brave issue because it doesn't do it to me through other any other internet browser. And also, there's a thing where like sometimes the window becomes really weird. And for example, if I go into a search bar, it'll start searching images automatically. And when I try to type, I can't type in it. And then you start clicking stuff on the screen, and it starts clicking the opposite of what you're trying to click on the screen. And that shit started to really piss me off because it's a major bug and it hasn't been fixed. And I was like, fuck it. And I just stopped using it and I moved to the next one. And for the next one, I ended up moving with Flirt. And this is the one I ended up actually sticking with. Okay, so Flirt is a browser made by a Japanese company called Ablaze, I believe, and it's a fork of Firefox. And the version of Firefox that it was based on was ESR, which is the security long-term support version. Not only that, this version of Firefox is actually known for being really the most stable version you're gonna. Well, I don't know if you're gonna get, but it's trust me, it's really stable and it's just a crazy process. And you might be asking why. Well, some of the reasons why it's because out of the blocks, it comes with app blocking. Not only app blocking, it comes pre-configured, blocks all tracking. Not only that, there's not only app blocking, but it also has user tracking. And a lot of this is based off how the country of Japan works and how companies are allowed to handle data. So it's pretty secure. They're not allowed to really sell your data to third parties like in American companies, like Firefox and Chrome would do. And on top of that, the customization, it's freaking amazing. Like it has so much customization. Not only that, the privacy enhanced features are fully open source and it doesn't really compromise usability over security like some other browsers do. And I feel like it's the perfect balance between the two. So at the end of the day, I'm not really trying to tell you guys what browser you should do. I'm just telling you what I ended up setting for and why I think is the best alternative. Like, do you prefer a browser where you gotta tweak things to actually use it and have everything that you want it to do? Or do you just want something that works out of the box? If you want to use something out of the box, I really recommend Floorp. Like, I mean, it's such an easy choice. I haven't had a single problem with Floorp. And if I do have a problem, I heard their community is really good at fixing things. But anyways, that's all for today until next time. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. And if you really like me, hit that notification button. And until next time, stay spooky, stay weird, and bye.